Alright, let's do this. Hey, what is up, awesome people? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome on board to the community of passionate changemakers. My name is Joshua Partugi. I'm a professional Scrum trainer based in Brisbane, Australia. I hope you're having an awesome week, folks. So today, I want to accomplish one of my goals for 2021, that is to create a video that explains Scrum based on Scrum Guide 2020 in under 7 minutes, but without cutting out the Scrum core principles. Hopefully I'm able to achieve it, so without further ado, let's do this. Scrum is a lightweight framework that helps people, teams, and organizations generate value through adaptive solutions for complex problems. Scrum is built upon empiricism, where knowledge comes from experience and decision-making is based on what is observed. To put it simply, Scrum is not about making assumptions. Scrum is about validating assumptions. The three legs of empiricism is transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Secondly, Scrum is built upon simplicity and lean thinking, where anything in the whole value stream that does not add value to the customers is considered as waste and should be removed as it only adds overhead and adds complexity. Thirdly, Scrum is built upon self-management and bottom-up collective intelligence, where people are viewed as smart, reliable individuals and empowered to make decisions on who does what, when, and how. As a framework, Scrum consists of 3 accountabilities. These are accountabilities, not job titles. Regardless of the person's job title in the company, whoever is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the Scrum team and also accountable for effective product backlog management. In the context of Scrum, this person is the product owner. When there is one product, there shall only be one product owner. Regardless of the person's job title in the company, whoever is accountable for establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide and accountable for the Scrum team's effectiveness. In the context of Scrum, this person is the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is a true leader who serves. And lastly, the people who develop the product, regardless of their job title and their pay grade in the company, are the developers. They are accountable for creating a plan for the sprint, instilling quality into the product as defined in the definition of done, adapting plan each day toward achieving the sprint goal, and holding each other accountable as professionals. Together as one unit, the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the developers are the Scrum team. The entire Scrum team has a shared accountability to create a valuable, useful increment every single sprint. For further explanation on the accountabilities in Scrum, check out my videos on Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Developers on this channel if you haven't already watched it. The Scrum team and everyone in the company who interact with them live the Scrum values, because without living the Scrum values, Scrum implementation in the company will just be a mini waterfall or the zombie Scrum. If you haven't watched my video on elaborative explanation on the Scrum values, check it out by clicking the link up here. Besides the 3 accountabilities, the Scrum framework also consists of 3 artifacts with its respective commitments and also 5 events to enable empiricism. Let's see how the accountabilities, the artifacts, and the events work together and make up the Scrum framework. The product backlog is an emergent ordered list of what is needed to improve the product. It is one of the artifacts of Scrum. Its commitment is the product goal. The product backlog is continuously refined to increase shared understanding. If you haven't watched my video on the product backlog and the product goal, go check out those 2 videos on this channel. Product backlog is one of the inputs for sprint planning. The sprint planning is one of the events in Scrum. It's only attended by the Scrum team. During sprint planning, the Scrum team has 3 main agenda. Create the sprint goal, select items from the product backlog that can fulfill that sprint goal, and decompose the selected product backlog items into smaller work items for developing a usable, valuable increment. The result of the sprint planning is a sprint backlog with sprint goal as its commitment. The sprint backlog is the second artifact in Scrum. If you haven't watched my video on sprint planning, click the link up here for more details on the mechanics and the other inputs that should be inspected during every sprint planning. After the sprint planning, the developers will work based on the sprint backlog and also the sprint goal. Every day in 15 minutes or less, they will make a small plan for achieving the sprint goal in an event called the Daily Scrum. If the product owner and the Scrum Master are also involved in development, they also join the Daily Scrum. During daily Scrum, the developers may discover the sprint backlog needs to change or the scope may be less than what they have planned during sprint planning, but as long as the developers can still fulfill the sprint goal, everyone shall respect and support their decision because the Scrum team is committed to the sprint goal, not to the sprint backlog. The problem solving should be done after the daily Scrum. This is to ensure the daily Scrum does not drag more than 15 minutes. If you haven't watched my video on daily Scrum, click the link up here for more details on the mechanics of daily Scrum. Before the end of the sprint, there should be a usable and valuable increment, otherwise the value of the product and the progress towards achieving the product goal cannot be measured quantitatively. The increment has a commitment to fulfill every checkbox in the definition of done. As such, the quality of the increment is at a state where it can immediately be released and used by the consumers. The increment is the third artifact in Scrum, with definition of done as its commitment. If you haven't watched my video on increment and definition of done, go find those two videos on this channel. The increment is one of the inputs for sprint review. The sprint review is another event in Scrum. Besides the increment, during the sprint review, the Scrum team and anyone who has a stake or has an interest with the product also inspect the current market conditions, any new opportunities, the remaining budget and the progress towards the product goal. The purpose of the sprint review is to gather feedback so the company can remain competitive in the market. It's not for demoing the increment or as a phase gate approval event. Any feedback that is given during the sprint review goes to the product backlog. It is up to the product owner to decide when that feedback will be done by the Scrum team. The product owner's decision shall be respected by everyone in the company. If you haven't watched my video on sprint review, click the link up here for an elaborative explanation and also myth busting about sprint review. After the sprint review, the Scrum team will hold the fourth event in Scrum called the Sprint Retrospectives to plan ways to increase the overall product's quality and their effectiveness as a team. Actionable improvements as the result of the retrospectives may be added to the next sprint backlog. After the sprint retrospective ends, the next sprint planning will immediately start on the following day. So all of these here are wrapped in a container event called the sprint. When the sprint planning starts, the sprint starts. When the sprint retrospective ends, the sprint ends. All of the 5 Scrum events are time-boxed to increase focus and to maintain rhythm. We shall not view the sprint as a mini waterfall. Instead, view it as a cadence for planning and pivoting. In Scrum, the Scrum team is empowered to release the increments to the production environments multiple times in a sprint. So, that is the Scrum framework, folks. It is a bare minimum framework to enable empiricism, and it is intentionally designed to be simple and incomplete to give room for us to customize it to our context. To solve a complex problem, we need a simple framework. Everything else that is not defined in Scrum Guide, such as user story, velocity, burn down chart, planning poker, Kanban, DevOps, user experience, design thinking, Nexus, evidence-based management metrics, and even objective key results or OKR are considered as complementary practices. It can be used with Scrum, but it's not part of Scrum. It is left up to the Scrum team to decide which complementary practices they should use with Scrum. Click the link up here to see videos on some complementary practices for Scrum that are already available on this channel. That is all from me today, folks. Thank you, and thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found today's video valuable. If you found it valuable, please share today's video to your friends or your colleagues at your workplace or even on social media. Don't forget to do all of those things that you need to do after watching videos on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Click the like button down below and watch other videos on this channel by clicking the thumbnails here and also down there. See you until my next video, folks. Until then, stay safe and don't forget to stay awesome.